Very important matchup here on our hands, and you know,
right,
obviously
here we go,
got
chat.
the
Time.
likes like the desk
It's
mentioned
time.
with Masa
It's
coming
first
back,
to 2.
a veteran of the
The reason why they don't call it best out of 3 is because it is a draw.
You know, I always think about
They don't want it like it's his first to 2 wins. So if you have draws, that eliminates like the best of 3 idea. Technically, it doesn't if you go like 1-0 and 1. Like obviously, the team that won, they want to make it a little bit more balanced on that side. If there's ever a draw, so they do best the first to 2.
Like with the
like technically best of 3, yes, but it could go to like a 4th match.
Obviously with a bit of a different lineup.
All right, here we go.
This one are going to start on Mecha base first.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing Mexico coming in with, I believe, actually, the name tag should be switched.
So what do we have here? Arissa versus the Bastion May comp. Okay, first of all, chat, I want to point out, up top, it's on the wrong sides of each one. Yeah. Finland's the Sigma comp, and Mexico's the Arissa comp.
Both sides, Castle goes so low, but the Immortality Field keeps
Wait a second.
Also hits the Javelin onto Cloud.
Mexico with the early pick. Wait.
Chobolux too. Perfect coordination from the likes of Mexico as they wipe Finland, sending them back to the spawn doors and taking the objective first.
All of that damage.
Yeah, they'll switch it soon.
Sona has almost built up the artillery strike, but because Castle was able to be
not a bad start.
Momo, he's already got an amplification matrix to be able to use to make pushing through this choke so punishing.
Now they have to come back through. Counter wall comes through after wall is committed by Cloud. Both teams also dropping a Baptiste window there from Momo's
The names
side.
are, yeah, they are there.
Forces out Finland for now. No kills, though, in this fight just yet.
Here we go.
Immortality Field committed from Finland temporarily.
Right now,
sure
like, what's working really well for Mexico is they are just... Okay, never mind. I was saying, they were playing really aggressive and, like, not letting them have any space, and it was helping a ton. And then as I say that, Finland just wins that with only using 1 ultimate.
Walks towards that point.
And now, here's an issue, right? Here's an issue we're going to see, is that Finland now has a huge rotation of ultimates, and especially the May ult rotation, which means that at this point, Finland is just, if they rotate their ultimates correctly, it's not going to be till 80%.
They don't get any value from it.
Everybody Clux available here on the inside. Sana, though, able to find Cass before they even need to use it. Just commit a beat drop there from Masa. Good communication from the support line of Finland. Also, their team in general, I mean, just off
that's very interesting that Mexico committed an ultimate there. Finland used 1-0. Literally 1-0. Just so you know, chat. Look at Mexico. They used their ult pool. This is what I mean by that. Finland now is going to use 1-0. It's going to be maybe Bastion ult. It might be May ult here. I don't know if it'll be Sigma ult because the Sigma has to worry about the... Yup, never mind. They don't have the ult. They're not ulting. Right now, what they're going to be calling out is do not ult, do not ult. Let's get these limbs. That's what they're going to call out right now, is they want to go and do that, right?
Sana absolutely being
that's what the play's going to do. Momo Deary, thanks for the tier 1. Thank you, thanks.
Mexico can't do anything.
Yeah.
Now 50%
Look
at
at this point, Finland, if they just play this perfectly, they're already about to have a window rotation. They're just going to keep saving their ultimates. This is like next to perfect ult usage right now by Finland. Wait, you see the flank? The Sojourn's flanking behind right now.
I mean, he's all the way across the map on the bridge. No angle, though, because
yeah, I was going to say, just push into him. They're going to push in.
They're actually deciding what to do here.
They're going to push in. You push in.
Really confuses Finland at the moment. They have to use the Immortality Field. The Blizzard did come out, so they're able to kill Momo. The beat drop not there.
It doesn't matter. They have such an ult advantage.
Now, Mexico, I mean, they have the...
So, yeah. So what I was showcasing there was what they wanted to do is they wanted to be able to find a way to create, like, this really unique off angle. Is Masa the shot caller? Masa? Yeah, probably. But it usually is a team effort also. A lot of it can be team effort too. But basically what they wanted to do right there was find a way to create an off angle, but what Finland recognizes is the 5v4. Give up that 10% of the point just to be able to keep your ultimates and win the team fight that way. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now. It's just look at the else.
The area to save Paulette, but Stella also finds him almost no more heals here. The Blizzard eventually
this right here was a perfect example of a team that used their ultimates like next to perfect. Mexico overcommitted ultimates on probably a lost team fight to begin with, and that gave Finland the advantage and allowed for them to only use ultimates right there.
And what I mean by that is
that's what you're
very good at keeping herself alive and only herself. Javelin Spin really doesn't have that wide a radius of effect.
Great play so far.
Something like the Divas,
great play so far, chat. That was just excellent.
Is your YouTube stream apparently having issues?
all of the Finland, however, had the numbers advantage.
Great job by Finland. I really do think that at that point, if Mexico had a little bit better of an ult economy and played that a little bit more like around that, I think they would have. I don't know. I'm not going to say they would have won that round, but I think it would have been a lot closer.
Maybe over to that Mercy. A bit of a pocket pick.
A lot closer.
Overwatch there in the sky. 15 seconds before the point unlocks on the map with the train. Angel able to find Mickey too. Nice shot from him with that charge up shot. I mean, forces Finland to be in a bit of a precarious situation. Now they don't have their Baptiste. A lot of the heals removed. Now Angel's able to find
great start. So Mexico's comp here is really just kind of about like really quick dives with burst damage, right? That's why you have the pocketed echo. So at that point, Finland is gonna you're gonna see a bit of a swap from Finland because their comp was not ready for that type of dive. So now they're going a little bit more of like this. Tracer can pull off on the flanks. Cassidy can kind of help with against the Doom with the hinder. And then now they have the ability to kind of get like multiple like pronged attacks in comparison to what they normally would do. So there's a way to switch off of the cast to make it so the Doom can't do much. And then the Tracer can take these like very like unique off angles and create like these really cool plays, as well as like kind of like get on them damage wise. I will say a really, really good rotation from Mexico to do damage right there. That was a really good play. Problem is it's still a 3v3. I actually think Mexico can win this. And now if you look at Mexico, they just switched over to Winston now. Basically, they're recognizing, okay, now that they're running that cast comp, I have to switch off. Don't be surprised to see if Finland loses a team fight and uses High Noon early on to switch off to another hero again. What that hero will be, I'm not entirely sure, but don't be surprised to see that.
Able to find him, Castle, though, with the nano boost, able to get Masa, so that's some healing removed.
Don't be surprised to see that.
Some good needed pressure from Finland's side. They did flip the point, however, causing Mexico to now back up as they've lost a bit of positioning.
Yeah, and Castle came back in on the Winston spill, try and dive into the backline and also give that nano.
Yeah, they might get Castle here real quick. Okay, that rock hit, then they absolutely would have. I'm trying to see what Finland has. They're going to High Noon. They're going to probably back up to an angle when they go for their dive and go for a High Noon play. They'll just protect them with like a window. But... oh, wait a second. Wait a second, though. This was actually... okay, so this is a decent team fight for Mexico, and I'll explain why.
Knowing that was the target.
Finland had to commit some ultimates, but Mexico also flipped the point, which means that like
and now they're gonna actually go back to that point, still have
them flipping the point there is like really good because now those ultimates were used, but it wasn't that like the loss of the point percentage. So instead of it being like 80% right now with like a little bit of like an ultis advantage, it's like 60%, which gives them another team fight. They're going to be aggressive with Winston ult. The problem is that they have window High Noon, and that is going to be difficult.
Yeah, but Stolas kind of noticed that Angel keeps going alone, just trying to make sure he kind of focuses on him, targets him a bit. Momo also does take down the Immortality Field from
I love how the Winston's HP was like 1 HP the whole time, and that's how tank is. The cast has overhealth, that's from the Brig ult. The Brig ult will last a little bit, so you have a little bit of extra overhealth.
Understanding Finland's in a great position.
They'll have a little bit of extra overhealth.
Cloud. Nice kill from him on the pallet. The nano boost is here, but they're already down 2 members. 85% on the board as well. It's
Winston's nanoed, but like you might be able to get in the limb there. Yeah, this was
able to kill Castle.
This was such a good job by Finland, in my opinion.
Board now. I don't know if Mexico
is such a good job.
That is not a
Why do I think he's playing Winston there? I think it's just part of the team comp they want to run.
3 key players before it finished.
Nice lamp.
Overlux is able to come in with the pulse bomb and at least tap, but unfortunately all that does is draw out Immortality Field, and Finland's going to be able to take that one nice and cleanly. It's so
that was a good first map. What else can we say at that point? They just dominated.
They see all of these ultimates coming out from Mexico's side inside room with that health pack, and they just
I will say, Mexico, like, they didn't like really play that bad against it. It's just they won the first team fight. Finland spent no time just Finland didn't go, okay, what we need to do here is we'll need to save my ultimate. They went, we're switching heroes. We're going to counter their initial push. I think this is if you're Team Mexico, one of the positives they have from that is they won both first team fights. And if you can win a first team fight, you can easily win rounds. It's just that the reaction, at least in my opinion, the reaction was excellent by
Finland. Yeah, it's really unfortunate, like you said,
Finland.
That was one
and Mexico needs to find a better way to get value on that if the hero swaps happen. And that was the problem we saw.
Punishing it, and that is that when the
because there wasn't as many hero swaps happening.
A lot of it was very isolated. Homework check that VOD. It is for everyone behind the scenes, for the coaches, the analysts, the managers, to be able to better
DM. One of the recommendations I would also we'll talk about that in a second. One of the recommendations I have for using Defense Matrix is like Prevent the burst damage, not the poke damage. Burst damage is like something that would absolutely get one of your teammates. A lot of people try to like DM like a random Pharaoh rocket the whole time. I don't mind this map. I mean, this map is definitely. I think this is one of those maps though where they feel like the way that Finland plays, they can play a little bit more aggressive. So Mexico clearly wants to run more of these dive-based comps, and they want to run like these like static comps. And this map has like a decent ability to get value with the dive, and obviously they want to run like this echo comp and the tracer comp. So like this gives them a little bit more opportunity to make those plays. The problem is I think Finland is just going to play. You can see they're playing defensive in that sense. So we'll see.
We're going to see an opening grapple shot successful for Sauna.
Cheyenne, thanks for the first round. Thanks.
Flashed before his eyes. Thankfully, it wasn't a headshot, and that echo is still going to be flying in the sky.
I wonder why they went the May. You know, I wonder if they use that comp initially. Okay, if they get a pick, I get it. I actually think I know why they do that. If they get a pick, right? If they get a pick,
there's some victory here, but Finland kind of.
Then they can speed boost in and prevent the res. If they don't get a pick, they switch to this comp because they need to slow down what they're doing.
And he does. Amazing kill.
I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing right there.
Help there too from the Brigitte. Able to get that shield from Massa.
This dude's dead in a second.
Now Castle goes so low.
Nice rock.
Yep, rocked him down. Mexico tried to back up. Maybe they can get a recontest off some respawns, but that was clinical from Finland.
Yeah, really good recall coming through from Sauna to just cancel out the stickies and deny that ult charge going.
Yeah, that's a tough start.
Pocket.
That's what I mean, though. I think Finland's kind of prepared for this. They had a strategy there. Like this is their strategy.
Has been stopping this.
Right, now they're on Winston.
To close up the distance, and
right away, Vistola's a very good tank player and a very good diva at that, and that's why you're seeing this. You'll find chat. This is what I did a lot during that rank season too. If there's a Winston, I go diva. And Finland is happy with this swap. They're like, okay, wait a second. High ground map, second point. You went Winston. I'm not staying on Sigma right here. I'm not going to sit there and try to take that high ground and spam it out. Like, it's not going to happen. So you go diva, you protect your Bastion, you play a defensive play style, you dive when you have numbers, and this is what you're going to see. You're going to see a very passive diva. That diva will aggress when they have numbers. So watch the diva. See the diva? Diva's just jamming teammates right now. Now there's an opportunity to be aggressive, but you're not going to see him deep dive until they have the limbs. So wait a second here. If they get a limb right now, watch the diva. Yeah, there you go. Got in the limb. Diva's going to be aggro now the whole time.
No more echo available. That's a lot of damage removed. And you would think for Mexico,
this is when you get aggressive because like they have to play defensive. This is going to create space for your team, but it's all time and base, right? It's all time and base.
Yeah, Vastola is a monster on the diva, and he's been doing so much to make sure that Palat on this.
Now going defensive again.
The GA too early, back up, move away from the echo pocket.
Now they don't have the numbers advantage. That's kind of what you do. You just kind of take your time.
Finland and goes down.
Take your time back and
Mexico
forth.
haven't really been able to find any standing ground to be able to try and use the high ground advantages as Finland try and approach. Duplication comes out from Jobalux onto the Bastion. Will be able to get artillery strike off. Baits out the lamp from Mickey's side, but immediately after that he's popped back into the echo form, and it's still all of the kills in favor of Finland.
What an absolute wild fight. I mean, Finland trying to
Finland just wins
now. Castle.
They're just going to devolve point they have to.
3 minutes left to go before they get that full cap. Nobody. I mean, there's got one person on the payload to touch it, but eventually Jobalux will fall.
At that point, that's what's going to happen.
Time bank leading into third base. As Vistola keeps pushing forward, playing so well. Ate that pulse bomb earlier. The sleep dart comes through, but eventually it's
good job right there.
Takes out Momo.
That's the start.
Good job right there, like straight up.
As well. Mexico is going to be swapping up a couple of things as we move into point C. A ceiling does come into play, so the echo is going to be replaced by a Hanzo. Momo, as a result, does not have to be on the pocket. And will swap on to the Alari with Paulette.
So Finland has Diva ult. Mexico has to switch. The reason why you're going off dive here is this is a very good, like, this is the equivalent of like when you switch to like Zarya or Sigma on like Dorado. Very similar how it will play around the map here. So you go for more of like the sightline spam. Rather than the dives, just it's a hard dive. It makes it hard for your supports to have to keep you up here. This is a little bit more static of a comp. So don't be surprised if Finland doesn't win this team fight to switch off of the Diva. They might just invest all their ultimates right now or invest like their play. Because at this point, their comp will get, in theory, I say out comp. Doesn't mean they won't win the team fights. But from what I can tell, I think they're going to be just fine. I don't think I think they're just going to win this right here.
But Moxie, no ultimates. on the Rika test. I mean, what do you do here as Team Mexico?
You can. It doesn't matter. Like, you're not taking a point. It's not even happening.
I think so.
You might be on.
Nobody even touches.
Nobody even touches.
Well, I'm on Twitch. Yeah,
Even if Mexico had been alive,
look at that point, like
and Vestola is in prime position to be able to just boost in and body block so that Mexico isn't able to tap.
Honestly, they can't. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to say it. I ruined it already. Yeah, Mexico, obviously, pretty rough situation there for them. Finland now move on to the defensive side. Looking like a very dominant team right now. I mean, that's the biggest takeaway from this is like Mexico looked solid in the qualifiers versus even the likes of, you know, Team USA. But coming in today versus Finland, Finland just looks like a well-oiled machine, huh?
Yeah, they did not allow Mexico any moment to breathe. Any moment on this map that you think is defensively favored was just swept out from Mexico's feet because they never really got to stand anywhere. Vestola was being such a thorn in their backside.
Finland's just a really solid team, and they have like
to apply pressure onto the
they're just playing the
replays here. Coming through, Vestola using the accretion to be able to land onto Castle mid-air, so he's not able to regroup with the rest of his team. Like, Mexico were coming in with a game plan. Field the Doomfist, create an uproar, create dissent, so that the Echo can just push in with that little bit less attention on them and find a kill, especially with the Mercy Pocket. But Finland never allowed Mexico to be able to play 5 men into these fights. They were constantly just applying pressure on every single one of these players individually.
All right, let me see.
Now they have to go
they
on
really
the
like this
offensive
Echo
side after kind of a horrific defense on their side. Maybe they have to decide if they want to switch up compositions to Moxie. It looks like they're going right to that Sigma composition.
Fauna with the set Bastion nade, by the way, connecting onto Mexico's spawn alley and picks up 13%
bonfire. Thanks for the
in opening moments.
See what happens here.
Roblox goes onto the maid to be able to block out a lot of that Bastion poke. Momo, with that Alari, takes a lot
the Sigma
of
versus Sigma comp. They don't have the Bastion. So now it's interesting because we saw Great Britain run the May Sojourn comp. I wonder if it's becoming a thing where some of these teams just don't want to run the Bastion. So they run the May Sojourn. This is also 100 DPS holding left click. You'd love to see that right there.
Well, finds Choblux, Masa eventually on the castle.
You love to see that.
Tough first fight for Mexico as already nearly a minute's off the clock.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate as a Baptiste when you do miss time throwing that Immortality Field, because a lot of the time, one, you lose the player that you tried to throw it in to save originally, and then it just gets burned out, and at that point, the enemy team is so close with a May doing 100 damage per second with that Endothermic Blaster. Mexico are just gone within moments. At least silver lining for the team, it's fast.
They're going to try to ignore him in this fight. It looks like just move towards that point, but actually now double back onto Cloud, who has built up that Blizzard very quickly. You need to be the first ultimate in the lobby. Usually don't see Maze build up that ultimate so quickly. But
I don't know, May actually builds up ult really fast now because you can cleave AoE the 100 damage.
Blizzard is here,
which is what you're seeing right there. Like, this May Bastion comp, I feel like it's so strong.
Now you're missing 2 members of your
It's such a good comp that, like,
jump off the map, maybe not give any ult charge, but it's too far. It's too little too late.
As a tank, the amount of pressure you're going to have, like, damage-wise on you,
Clyde's doing so much damage,
you just can't do anything half the time. So when they just go into turret form, like, you're just getting rolled.
Like you said, really supercharging up that Blizzard.
Like, you're just getting rolled
pretty much the pacing that we would expect of a Sombra EMP. And
which obviously is not ideal, right?
Something else, it really is an accomplishment, as we're going to see a Vestola trying now to deal with this flux. Doesn't have the accretion on cooldown, won't be able to cancel it.
I'm okay with that flux. I think that at that point they're just trying to cause some type of like play, but the problem is that then they're by themselves at that point. And like that, the issue there that happened with that Sigma ultimate was that there was no like real true follow-up with the teammates, so getting the high ground's fine, but you have to be ready to back up, especially when there's a brick. I feel like when there's a brick there, it makes it even more difficult because they can just cleave through all of your like AoE.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Like, I would honestly just advise them to try and push the point as quickly as possible, right? Swap onto a Lucio,
I mean, they're redoing some
something like an Orisa to be able to survive the approach.
Finland's just dominating right now. Finland is just... Finland's a very, very, very good team. They know what they want to do strategy-wise. They're doing perfect rotations. It's just...
And Finland
like now they're trying to just bait him to the point with the Sojourn, but like they're gonna realize at main now is just a 4v5.
Like we don't really gotta worry about that. So
like they're just getting okay. No, they flipped the point on him and they went Orisa. That's a great ult, by the way. I'll explain why in a second. There you go. The Bastion ult combo is so good because they have the lamp. They have the lamp, and then if you just Bastion out the lamp once, you can just use it twice, and they're all in a row. There's nothing they can do at that point.
They still used a lot of ultimates in Finland,
and it's worth giving them the tip
with that in that department.
Yeah, castled on the Orisa, goes for the javelin.
It's worth giving them the tick at that point, right?
Because why not? It's not the damage from the flux that you have to worry about.
You can't.
It's the fact you're all
Sigma Bastion ult is such a good combo that if done correctly, there is nothing they can do at that point.
Have an amplification
Literally nothing.
With this Baptiste, it might be able to buy them some space, but Finland closing up on a Blizzard, even if we get into overtime, they have the better ultimates. They have more of the ultimates. They're going to win a sustained fight.
This is just
when they try to charge in, a bit of a wasted window, unfortunately, can't even use.
Remember how on the first map I talked about Finland having great ult usage? Their ult usage is just so good. They're just very
nobody's there to touch
good.
Finland 2-0 in a very
convincing fashion. I think people expected Finland to 2-0.
Incredibly dominant, like you said. Finland looking like one of the strongest
I think the one thing Mexico can do and learn from that set of games
to try to take the fight to Korea.
is look at like what they do on first team fights and try to kind of mimic what they're doing, because they do such a good job of getting the first team fight, but then after they get the first team fight, they kind of like switch up their play style a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
and that becomes a part of the problem. So I think if they do that, then you might see a little bit better
result. It's going to be the matchup that everybody's looking forward to.